Hey guys, it's me the Genie Gamer. Today I'm going to show you some of the best PvP mods for Forge and Fabric. These are all used at your own risk, meaning some servers may not allow the mods I show in this video, but I try to choose mods that should be allowed on most Minecraft PvP servers. Anyways, let's go get right into the video. Okay guys, the next mod on the list is Optifine along with the complementary shaders. The reason for Optifine is to help performance, which is always good, and they give us shaders, which I kinda have to play with. And if I'm gonna play with any shader during PvP, it's going to have to be the complementary shaders, since it has some features that can actually help during PvP and help visibility. It works fine in 1.8 to 1.17.1 in my testing. I haven't tested older versions. They may work fine there. I haven't tried. You may notice some features work at a reduced capacity or do not function at all in older versions, but it looks just fine to me, and it's one of the few new shaders that really work well in 1.8.9. We're going to go through what settings I would choose for complementary during PvP, since you do have to change some settings if you want it to actually function well during PvP. And let's go through those. So if we go into options, video settings, shader options, I first like to turn on integrated PBR plus. That basically auto-generates PBR and normal mapping on whatever resource pack you throw at it, as well as allows ores in whatever resource pack you choose to glow, which can help visibility a lot. So I turn that on. I go into sky, go into cloud settings, and turn the cloud opacity up, personal preference. I turn galaxies on, galaxy brightness down, personal preference. I turn up the handheld light distance. That changes how far dynamic lights go. So like when you hold a torch, it configures how far that light can travel. It can help visibility in that respect. If we go back into world and fog settings, I turn border fog off to help visibility. I turn up the minimum light level to help visibility at night. If we go into outline settings, I like to turn on alternative outlines, turn up the outline strength, and down the and up the outline thickness. That's what gives everything that outline you see, and it can help you see the corners of blocks better, actually, I noticed. So if we go back and go into post-processing settings, I turn vinaigrette off, personal preference. I change the tone map settings, just a personal preference, since I don't like the default tone maps. If we go into shadows, I like to turn down the shadow resolution and down the shadow distance. That is just to help performance. If you go into materials, I turn rain puddles on and turn off rain puddle biome check. That just gives everything rain puddles during rainfall. It just kind of looks nice. And I turn rain puddle biome check off to allow rain puddles to form in deserts. If you go into missive settings, I turn up the enchantment glint intensity. That just helps me see if someone's wearing enchanted armor easier. If you go into integrated PBR settings, this is where you can configure and turn on auto-generated normals, turn on emissive nether ores for the newer versions of Minecraft, turn on emissive redstone blocks. That's just a personal preference. Turn on emissive ancient debris, just to help, mine ancient debris. If we go back and go into other, I like to turn on close-up particle reduction. Basically, when you're splashed with the particles, you have particles that show up on screen. It makes those more transparent. It makes it easier to see past them, but it does not affect the potion particles on other players. You can still see if other people have a potion effect on. I like to turn on better visibility under lava. That basically just allows you to see better in lava. And lastly, I change the section outline settings. I turn red all the way down, turn intensity all the way up, and put it in select color. This makes it light blue, my preferred color. Although you can make it whatever color you want, I just happen to like a kind of cyan, light blue type color, and it fits my resource pack quite well, as you can see, and my channel theme. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next mod. Okay guys, the next group of mods on the list are mods for 1.8.9, the first being Chat Cooldown Manager. It pretty much is made for Hypixel, and it queues the messages because Hypixel does not allow you to send messages often. So, for example, I say hi, then I say hello, and it'll queue the message. So Hypixel doesn't complain, and once the timer on Hypixel is up, they will send in the message. And that's pretty much all it does. It helps a lot if you want to, like, say you're in the middle of a battle and you need to talk to your teammate. You type something, but oh, there's a cooldown. You don't have to retype it and risk having to type again. It'll just set it for you once the cooldown ends. Very useful mod. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next mod. Okay guys, the next mod on the list is called Armor Status HUD, as well as Armor Status HUD Renewed. Armor Status HUD works from versions 1.2.5 to 1.8, although the 1.8 version does seem to work just fine on 1.8.9. There used to be a 1.8.9 version, but I don't know what happened to it. But the 1.8 version of the mod works just fine in 1.8.9. And then Armor Status HUD Renewed works from versions 1.12.2 to 1.16.5 at the time of making this video. Basically what it does is it will show your items, what you're holding, and all your armor slots durability on the bottom left. And it starts out white, then it'll get a yellowish orange, then it becomes red. And that's pretty much all it does. Allows you to keep tabs of durability under all your armor a lot easier. But that's it for this mod, so let's go ahead and move on to the next mod. Okay guys, next group of mod. Okay, the next mod on the list is called the Custom Crosshair mod. It is a mod for 1.7.10 to 1.17.1 at the time of making this video, although it might have already been updated. I am not sure. It pretty much just adds a custom crosshair into the game. You can change the colors, the shape, and all of that. And you can also make it rainbow or all that. In 1.8 though, it does not have the cooldown functionality, so that animation will then be gone. And on both versions, other than that, it'll be the same. When you hover over players or mobs, it'll change color. You can customize that color as well. You can also customize opacity. And yeah, that's it. So let's go and move on to the next mod. Okay guys, the next mod on the list is called Status Effect HUD. Status Effect HUD Updated and Status Effect Timer. Status Effect HUD works from 1.4.2 to 1.8. With Status Effect HUD Updated works from 1.8.9 to 1.12.2. And Status Effect HUD Timer works from 1.16.5 to 1.17.1. The main difference is just looks. To configure Status Effect HUD and Status Effect HUD Renewed, this is a command you use. You can configure the placement and if there's a background on it and that type of thing. And they pretty much work the same. The Status Effect HUD timer, I don't think has a config like that, but that's pretty much the only difference. Yeah, let's go and move on to the next mod. Okay guys, next mod on the list is called Just Enough Items, as well as Roughly Enough Items. Just Enough Items is the forged version that works from 1.8 to 1.78.1 at the time of making this video. And Roughly Enough Items is the fabric version that works from 1.13 to 1.17.1 at the time of making this video. It is better than the vanilla book and helps with PvP because you have everything unlocked. If you need to craft something, you can see how to craft it, how to smelt it, If I do potions, you can see how to brew it. So it'll help you learn how to brew potions that way. And then on top of that, let's say I want to make specifically gray wool. Normally in the vanilla book, it'll like switch through every different color and you have to time it perfectly. But with this, you just click it, shift, plus it'll transfer the items, and there you go. You can go ahead and craft all of it. Anyways, that's it for these mods, so let's go and move on to the next mod. Okay guys, all the mods in this 4.4 work in the newer versions of Minecraft, not 1.8. First being low fire, which basically lowers fire on your screen. It'll work with every resource pack, since what it does just lowers the fire texture. The only thing is, if you combine it with a pack that already lowers fire, the fire will end up being either very, very low or non-existent. But for packs that don't lower fire, you can make them lower the fire, and it'll be very nice, and it'll look cool. You can lure fire with any resource pack you want. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next pack. Okay guys, next mod on the list is called Enchanted Tooltips. It works from 1.14.3 to 1.17.1 at the time of making this video. Pretty much it is for those of you that don't know enchants very well. So let's go and find some enchant books, and pretty much when you shift, you can see what the book does. Like feather falling reduces fall damage, protection reduces most types of damage, a blast protection reduces explosion knockback, things like that. So you can know exactly what it does if you don't know enchants very well. And it's very useful for new players and that want to get good at enchanting for armor quickly. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next mod. Okay guys, next mod on the list is called XY Key. It is for 1.16.5 to 1.17.1. And what it does is it gives you a bunch of hotkeys you can configure. First you got J, which will copy your coordinates for you to paste. Then you got Y, the stable position, and you can find the safe positions here. You say like, oh, I found this loot here, or this trap or base. You can save the position that way. And then you got U, and so say you can say whatever you want, and I'll say that, then the coordinates in chat. So what I would use that for is hit U and do like / message someone or whatever. Right, / message a person on a server your coordinates during PvP. Or you got O to say it to everyone in chat without any text before it, any description. And that could also be useful since many servers have a team chat, so you can tell your team your coordinates that way, or this way too, but with added steps. And then you got I, which basically just shows your position. That's pretty much all it does. And the reason I think it's useful is, again, telling other people your coordinates without having to hit F3 and type it all out. Very tedious. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next mod. Okay guys, the next mod on the list is called Boat Item View and Boat Item View Forge, which is just the Forge part. Boat Item View works from 1.16.5 to 1.17.1, and Boat Item View Forge just works at 1.16.5 at the time of making this video. Pretty much what it does is it allows you to read maps while boating around. So you can still, like, you know, see where you're going. You don't have to, like, you know, stop. It's very nice to still be able to see your map while boating around and whatnot. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next mod. Okay guys, the next mod on the list is called Ugly Scoreboard Fix. It is a mod from 1.16 to 1.17.1 at the time of making this video. It is specifically made to be used on Hypixel and basically gets rid of the numbers you see on the scoreboard just to make it look a bit nicer. Anyways, let's go to move on to the next mod. Okay guys, the next mod on the list is called Enchantment Book Redesign for 1.14.4 to 1.16.5 and Enchantment Book Redesign fabric for 1.16.1 to 1.17.1 at the time of making this video. Pretty much, if you look at enchantment books, each kind will look different now. Protection looks different than binding. Sharpness looks different than bane arthropods, and so on. A thing with the 1.17 version is all the enchantment glints look the same. Normally, they would all be different colors. The enchantment glint animation itself, maybe that will come in later 1.17 versions, maybe by the time you're watching this video. But it works fine in the older versions, that function. The reason I think this mod in particular would be useful for PvP is saving time when looting. So you see a loot chest, and there's enchantment books in it, 1 or 2, and you can easily see what enchantment is what, without having to hover over it and waste seconds trying to see what kind of enchant it is. And we all know when you're looting and doing all that, you're very vulnerable to getting hit in the back of the head. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next mod. Okay guys, the next mod on the list is called Skin Swapper, and it is a mod for 1.16.5 to 1.17.1 at the time I'm making this video. Pretty much allows you to easily change your skin. You can just like choose whatever skin you want, or if you're a tryhard and want to use it for PvP, which is what this video is for, you could camouflage yourself, I guess. That's the only scenario I think it'd be useful for PvP. You basically just hit change skin just like that, and you hop on the server you want to play on. And look at that, I'm dirt now. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Let me put on my normal skin again. Because, if you want to add skins, there's a skins folder in your Minecraft folder that will be generated after the mod first loads. You can put all the skins you might want to use in that folder. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next mod. Okay guys, the next mod on the list is called Enhanced Attack Indicator. It is made for 1.16.5 to 1.17.1. Other than the traditional, sword cooldown, it adds a few other cooldowns, such as when switching inventories, when equipping anything in your offhand, when the shield is on cooldown. You see that cooldown? It takes a long time. You have a cooldown while let me eat. No. You have a cooldown while shooting, just like that. And then you also have a cooldown while purling, a cooldown while eating coarse fruit, a cooldown while just... Well, I'm already full now, actually. But there is a cooldown when you eat. Did those drop emeralds? What? Okay. Anyways, oh, here. There you go, there's that cooldown. It just helps you keep tabs on how much time you have left. Like, oh, you're in the middle of a battle, you try to start eating, someone's running up to hit you, you can see how much longer it's gonna take for you to finish eating, and see if you really want to keep eating that fish. I would keep eating that fish, it tastes very good. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next mod. Okay guys, the last mod on the list is called Presence Footsteps, as well as Presence Footsteps Forge. Presence Footsteps works from 1.14.4 to 1.17.1 at the time of making this video, while Presence Footsteps Forge only works in 1.16.5 at the time of making this video. It pretty much adds a bunch of new footstep sounds depending on what you're standing on. I noticed ice, snow, grass, deep slate, stone, all the different stone variants, gravel, sand and concrete, powder, concrete powder, leaves and hay bales, warped nylium, soul soil, iron, planks, chest, and wool. The reason I think this has any use case at all in PvP, even if it's only a little bit, is because, well, it kind of gives you ideas of what blocks other players are standing on around you without hearing them. Say someone's trying to sneak up on you, you can hear, hey, are they behind me on the grass, or are they above me on the trees, which would sound very different. It's hard to kind of get used to at first and kind of get that sixth sense, but once you're used to all the different block sounds, it kind of allows you to, again, hear what blocks other people are standing on and act off of that new information you couldn't have previously. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope to see you all in the next video or stream. Leave a comment down below if there are any PvP Forge or Fabric mods you think I missed, or if you just need any help or just want to give up some tips. Anyways, bye!